If you've ever played the game Undertale, I think the first thing you'll probably notice about Everhood is that it looks very similar to Undertale. And that's really my one and only criticism of this game. And I thought I would just get that out of the way right off the bat. I would say the developers pretty much completely ripped off Toby Fox's style. And for that reason, I didn't even think I was going to make it through this entire game. I remember playing it for about 20 minutes and then I just dismissed it as derivative, and then I didn't pick it up again for another couple months. But I'm glad I did pick it up again because I ended up getting a lot out of it. I still wish the developers made a little more effort to set themselves apart. But at the same time, I don't want to be too hard on them for wearing their influences on their sleeves like that. Because, all artists steal from each other at the end of the day. And I figure if you are going to steal from someone, you may as well steal from somebody as brilliant as Toby Fox. In the same way that Undertale is an anti-RPG, Everhood is an anti-rhythm game, where instead of mashing buttons to hit the notes on tempo like you would in a game like Guitar Hero, you actually play as this little guy, and you gotta jump around and dodge the notes as they're coming at you, or else you'll take damage. It feels similar to playing a bullet hell type game, except it's got a bit of a dance to it, and I really appreciated the novelty of this gameplay. However, what I really enjoyed about this game is actually the downtime, because between the rhythm sections, there are some more standard like RPG elements where you're just walking around and exploring the world, and that's really where all the emotion happens, and it's where all the story beats are revealed. And I'd say a major highlight of this game for me was bonding with all of the unique characters, because even if some of them didn't get much screen time, I felt I could connect with all of them very easily because they all have such distinct personalities. And with the way that they're written, you just kind of get to the core of each character very quickly, and that created a sense of intimacy for me. This game has a theme of immortality, and that's really what I want to be reflecting on here, because that's what the game's got me ruminating about. And when it comes to this kind of stuff, I'm always going back and forth. Sometimes it's comforting to think that I might be an immortal being, because when life is going well, it's nice to think that maybe it will never end. But on the other hand, life is also suffering, and immortality would mean that I would have to continue living through all of that suffering. Life is also constant change, and of course change can be a very beautiful thing, but it can also be very scary and unpredictable. So my experience with Everhood has been kind of frightening, honestly. Like, these concepts are very fascinating, but they can also be very heavy on the psyche, because if the only two options are immortality or death, then either way, it's absolutely terrifying. And having to sit with that throughout this entire game was actually kind of rough, I was never really all that comfortable while I was playing Everhood. I've sometimes heard people talk about death as if they've got it figured out, and they might say things like they're not afraid to die, or they might say that they don't care if they live or die. I think things like that. And while I do have an appreciation for those kind of sentiments, they just say it so nonchalantly that it comes across, to me anyway, that it seems like they're coping, And I really feel like this game does a good job of breaking that sort of thing down, because it doesn't let you get away with merely coping with death. It really forces you to sit with the reality that there's just no easy way out. And I think for me, it's not like I'm living in constant fear of death or anything like that. But I also think that it would be silly to believe that when my time comes that I'm not going to be afraid, or I'm just going to be comfortable with it, And I guess that's my takeaway from this game. I really don't even want to be thinking about this kind of stuff, and yet I really enjoyed playing Everhood. If you liked Undertale, or if you like games like Earthbound, you'll probably like Everhood as well. It's a pretty short game, which is nice because of how emotionally taxing it can be. And I would say by the time that I felt I had nothing more to learn from it, it was pretty much already over. And that is pretty much all I gotta say about Everhood. This is a solid game. I've got 2 more reviews that I'm working on right now that I'm pretty excited about. I think I want to be doing this more often. Currently, I've been doing like 1 video a month, and I think that's been really good. I mean, all I'm saying is I'm really enjoying this, and I'm getting a lot out of it. I think this is very good for me to be doing this kind of stuff. So anyway, got 2 more reviews coming, and that's it. I'm just talking now, so I'm going to end the video. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.